We're going to be looking at one more type of map. There's at least two teams fighting against each other, and you control a single hero. Each team has a base that spawns units every few seconds. These units will branch off into 3 to 4 different paths from your base, fighting enemy forces along the way before attacking the enemy base itself. This is referred to as Aeon of Strife, or AOS, which is derived from a StarCraft map of the same name. First is Hands of Sorrow Night, or HOSK for short. There are 2 teams of up to 5 players each. The biggest selling point of this map is the ability to customize your hero. First, you choose your hero, then an offensive spell, a support spell, and 2 ultimate abilities based on your hero. You can choose which attributes to raise, as opposed to having them increase automatically. Furthermore, you can have an additional 6 passive abilities. There are literally over 1 million combinations of abilities you can choose for your hero. This sheer amount of content that needs to be learned in a short time span makes this one of the least noob-friendly maps on Battle.net. I found myself reading all of these tooltips for several minutes in every game I play, just to figure out what I should get for my hero. The items and recipes further complicates things, drawing yourself away from the gameplay in order to read more tooltips. It's a big problem for this type of map, but really its only problem. Once you get past the information barrier, the gameplay flows very well. Towers in the middle of the map are replaced by that of the opposing team when they're destroyed. The experience gained from enemy heroes depends on the level gap, even going as far as decreasing the experience of a higher level hero that you kill. I cannot recommend this map to anyone who wants to get into a game quickly, but if you have the patience and willingness to learn, this map has a huge amount of replayability and will keep you coming back to try out new combinations. Overall, it's a good, polished map. Here we have Tides of Blood. The map supports 2 teams of 6 players each. What interests me most about this map is its lack of emphasis on hero items. You might buy a couple items to increase stats, along with a few potions, but that's about it. You have a hero, now go crush some nerd face! You'll be relying primarily on hero abilities and your team's army to win. Aside from the standard gold currency that you acquire over time, you also have a resource called Blood, which can be obtained by killing enemy heroes. You can use this blood to build spawning towers at your spawn locations to boost your team's army. This is very important since your hero can only go up to level 18. The game further promotes teamwork by rewarding players who assist in killing an enemy hero with some extra gold and blood. The terrain is well made, both aesthetically and functionally for smooth navigation. A very good map, though not without its flaws. The selection of heroes includes stock heroes like the Warden and Dark Ranger, with minor adjustments to their abilities. The map loses points on creativity here, and some ultimate abilities are not very effective. Let's use Call the Sky as an example. This basically hits random spots in an area while the spell is being channeled. When I want to put some damage into a target, this ability requires a lot of luck, but when you don't have it, the spell sucks. With the map's minor flaws aside, the gameplay is solid and it's worth getting a couple games in every now and then. I say play it. Next up is Battleships. It's a standard 5-on-5 skirmish utilizing ships carrying multiple weapons. You start the game with a single cannon and enough gold to purchase an additional weapon or item. Unlike other AOS maps, there's only 2 lanes where units will travel. You can upgrade to several different types of ships, each with their own unique abilities. Weapons have differing ranges, damage, and attack speeds, but they all behave the same. They attack random nearby enemies, and there's no way to control what they attack. The more enemy units there are, the more the damage will be spread out. Since the weapons you acquire are actually items in the hero's inventory, you are limited to only 6 of them, and it's possible to turn the tide of battle with a single purchase. One of the nicest looking features of this map is how the repair bay in your base works. Instead of having an area where you would rapidly regenerate hit points,
This repair bay disables your ship and some workers come out to quickly repair it. Each side has access to the same weapons and ships, so the outcome of the game mainly comes down to the individual players and communication between them. One thing that seems to be unappreciated is the Crusader's capsize ability, especially if you're on the receiving end. It's essentially a suicide attack that deals a lot of damage. The player who uses this on an enemy player's ship will receive gold and experience, while the victim and his team only has one less enemy ship on the map to deal with. The only penalty received by the suiciding player is the respawn time. Because of this, the Crusader became the weapon of choice rather than a last resort. Other than that, the map is fun to play, so check it out if you see a game hosting it. Now let's take a look at battle tanks. It's somewhat similar to battleships, but you control a tank instead of a ship. There are several weapons and upgrades you can purchase, and as with battleships, you're limited to 6 of them. There are many different ways you can open the game with. A typical opening build is a light tank or helicopter with a couple cheap weapons, but some players stray away from the pack and purchase a more expensive weapon or tank right off the bat. One of the big gameplay features is the presence of control points spread across the map. These spots allow you to repair your vehicle at a very rapid rate and spawns ground units for your team's army. You can also teleport to control points that your team controls in exchange for 75 gold. Capturing these points from the enemy gives you a strategic advantage. Like with battleships, it has the same problem of being able to turn the tides with a single purchase. An extra weapon or hull upgrade could instantly change you from being the weakest link to an unstoppable killing machine, if only for a few seconds. Each weapon automatically targets random nearby enemies as well, so having allied units nearby offers a lot of protection. One of the better features of the map is its use of artificial intelligence. When you start the game with computer players, or if a player leaves the game, the AI will take over. Believe it or not, the AI actually performs well. They buy weapons, upgrade tanks, capture control points, and they attack and defend as needed. While not perfect, it allows you to have a good game offline as well. Overall, I'd say Battle Tanks offers more in-depth gameplay than Battleships, so try it out also.